I'm going to apologize ahead of time for already making your life a little more stressful than it needs to be, but I have to report this story. According to a Bloomberg report, Iran has the capabilities officially to create an atomic warhead. For those of you who don't know what that means, they can now make nukes. Alright, so when I was doing research for this story, I needed to find a direction in which to take you guys. So I'm just going to start from what this report says, and then I'll give you some historical context, and then we will talk about the fact that Iran is just willing to do whatever it takes to try and be the #1 superpower in the Middle East. So please stick with me because this is quite a cause for concern, considering the US military is really trying to bully Iran to stopping their criminal activities in the Middle East, yet Iran is pushing back, going after civilian targets utilizing their Houthi groups, going after Israel with Hamas and Hezbollah, going after US targets in Iraq. It's heating up, so let us stick with the facts and let's get to this. Okay, so this is the Bloomberg report. Iran frustrates nuclear monitors as its uranium stockpile grows. Now, I do have to say this is not a new thing where Iran has always wanted nuclear power. Maybe not necessarily to create a warhead, but this even goes all the way back to the 70s. So this is a long way coming. This is not like all of a sudden, we have nuclear warheads. No. Let's, we'll get into all of that, but let us stick to what's happening today. Okay, so apparently Iran is frustrating international efforts to examine its nuclear program as it speeds up its production of uranium enriched close to level needed for weapons. And the International Atomic Energy Agency inspectors figure Iran now has sufficient quantities of highly enriched uranium to build several atomic warheads. Look, as long as you have one, you automatically step yourself right into the top 10 superpowers of the world. All you need is one of those bad boys to push your weight around. I mean, we know Russia has tons of them, but the main reason why nobody will ever mess with Russia is because they got the goods to back their military power. Now, this is coming straight from the Director General Rafael Mariano. He's like the top dog here, so if he's saying it, there's probably some legitimacy to it. Now, a graph was also provided to us to give us visual learners a way to see how much in advancements Iran has come to actually producing enriched uranium. So you can see all the way back in 2021, there wasn't a lot going on. Fast forward to 2024, there's a lot going on. I mean, this is simple math here, simple visual explanations. Now look, maybe in another video we can get into the exact specifics on how much of quantities you need to have an effective warhead. I actually do happen to be friends who work within this space and this agency. Maybe we'll do it, but this channel more focuses on the direct news, the direct implications, and where we might head. So again, we might make a video on that at some point. If you guys leave a comment and let me know if you want the direct specifics without getting us all in trouble, just let me know if you want me to do that. Now, here's the kicker, and here's where the line is drawn, where people are calling BS and other people are saying Iran is doing the right thing. While inspectors haven't detected diversion of Iran's uranium inventory of weapons, the manufacture and storage of so much material is raising concern. Iran tripled its rate of uranium enriched in December, rolling back measures which had been implemented in back-channel diplomacy with the US. Now, I'm just going to dumb that down for you, and we will get into what this article is talking about. Was the US talking to Iran? Well, a lot of countries have been talking to Iran. But what you need to understand is that there is a percentage that was already given to Iran where, mathematically speaking, there was a known amount of uranium needed to power major parts of Iran, which is why Iran wanted nuclear power, for energy, to help power its country. Once you go beyond that level, it's like, well, you actually don't need that much, and you definitely don't need this much, and you definitely don't need to keep tripling the process of what you're already doing. So that is why there is a cause for concern here. And again, when you bring everything into today's context, the fact that Iran is so willing to be super aggressive recently, attacking targets in Pakistani territory, allowing for the Houthis to keep striking civilian vessels over and over and over again, there's obviously something going up. I'm not like Carmen Sandiego for us 90s babies, or some sort of highly expert investigator here. It's simple math. If you were told only have this amount, but you quadrupled your amount and you're attacking everyone, obviously something is up here. And I'm not even a conspiracy theorist. I'm the last person to even get into that route. Okay, so again, the International Atomic Agency, the director, has a lot of concerns here. So let us talk about, historically speaking, why Iran is not even supposed to be in this position and how they have breached what they were not supposed to do. Let us take a quick history lesson. I'm going to try and simplify this for you because I know you got things to do today. So let us get into this. Introducing the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, also known as the Iran Deal or the Iran Nuclear Deal. If you are over the age of 20 or maybe 23, you've probably heard this over and over and over again through the Biden administration, through the Obama administration, and definitely through the Trump administration. Essentially, in 2015, between Iran and 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, there was an agreement reached where Iran can have a specific set of enriched uranium that will go directly to their energy sources. And if you breach that, you will have some issues. Also in this agreement, essentially, the United States and other nuclear partners will be able to monitor, install cameras in these facilities, and will be able to watch the entire process of Iran. Now look, even at this time, there was an extreme amount of pushback. Like, why would you ever let a country like Iran even have the possibility to somewhat get close enough to nukes? But again, the provisions were put in place by major superpowers back then that, you know what, we're going to be able to watch Iran, so there's no way in hell they will ever be able to actually create a weapon. Now, the countries to sign this were China, France, Germany, Iran, Russia, United Kingdom, United States. And based off this list, you can already tell there are a couple of countries on this list, Russia and China, where in retrospect, it was probably not the greatest idea to ever trust them at this time, because the position they're in today, of course they're working side by side with Iran. It's been proven time and time again with the trade of drones. I mean, right now, the #1 drone being used throughout the world of these direct attacks, it happens to come from Iran. Now, even though this was ratified in 2015, this was a very long process. It took from 2013 to 2015 to actually hash out this deal. But again, you can see in history, even all the way back in the 70s, Iran has been working day in and day out every single year to get closer and closer to try and become a nuclear powerhouse. Now, where things take a massive turn is that the United States, or Donald Trump if you will, decided, you know what, it's time to pull out of this deal. Obama was absolutely insane, forever getting us into this mess. And in 2018, the United States put heavy sanctions on Iran to include pulling out of this deal. And because of that, Iran is like, if you're going to breach your contract, we're going to breach our contract, because who cares? You're sanctioning the crap out of us. We cannot trust you. That was the perspective or the narrative from Iran. Now, to make things even more crazy, back in 2020, there was actually an Iranian scientist who was taken out in an ambush. Now, we also have to remember at this time, Israel kept pushing and pushing to show the world that Iran is breaking the rules. We know what they're doing. They've even claimed to tell the world that they've uncovered secret intelligence on all of this. And so obviously at this point, Iran was just fed up with Israel and the rest of the world, and they were still continuing to push this narrative of, you guys have zero proof of what we're trying to do. We are not creating any sort of weapons. We're only trying to create energy. So again, you had a collective action back in 2015 to allow for Iran to have the capability to create nuclear energy or enriched uranium. Then you have the United States pulling out of this deal, and then you have Iran and other allied partners, to also include the United States, pushing this narrative to not allow Iran to have anything close to nuclear power. And now we bring it all the way up to 2023, where Iran does officially have the capability to create atomic warheads. But the question is this: are they doing it? Again, according to the official organization overseeing Iran, or as much as they can oversee Iran, there is no evidence pointing this way, but there's also absolutely zero reason for Iran to need this much of enriched uranium. To me, the biggest evidence is this, and again, you can leave your opinion down below. It's the fact that Iran is just A-okay with actually striking Iraqi territory, being okay with it, and not telling Iraq, Also striking Pakistani territory, being okay with that and not telling Pakistan, that to me is a leading indicator on how okay Iran is for everybody absolutely hating them. They obviously know something we don't know, and again, the facts and the evidence are all leading to Iran. This is not even a conspiracy thing. This is just putting it all together to realize, why would a country be so okay with doing all of this and not allowing for other scientists to come in and see what they're doing with their uranium? That to me is a little sketchy and very red flag, as they say in 2024. So what is going to happen? Well, as somebody who's very studious in military history, my biggest fear is that some sort of false flag may happen. And again, I know this is like turning into a conspiracy thing. I'm trying to stray away from this, but it only takes one instance of actually seeing that Iran has the potential to do something really bad. The second that Iran does get an atomic warhead, it's going to be very difficult for any military ever to actually do something to Iran. Now, the United States will not be directly affected, but if there's one country that will, it will be Israel. And the United States and Israel stand hand in hand right now in the Middle East. So we will see what happens. There is a point in history where Israel is the only military power to ever go after a nuclear reactor or the nuclear capability of a country. That is in Iraq. Go ahead and look up that mission where Israel flew at very low levels with their F-16s, took out a reactor, flew back, and was like, yeah, we did that. What are you going to do about it? So we will see what happens. The U.S. will certainly not like this report, or not like the fact that Iran can do this. They probably already know Iran can do this, so we will see what happens. I don't want to speculate too hard, but these are the facts. Let me know what you guys think down below, and we will see you later. The Middle East is just getting worse and worse in my opinion.